All right, and welcome to another episode of Actualize After Hours. Today, because we are tired, we're going to play Wavelength. Although Wavelength does require some brain activity. For those of you who don't know how to play this game, I actually have two new players today. The game, it's fun because we're playing a physical game in a Zoom room. It's totally not meant to be played the way that I'm playing it today, but as we've seen already, we've played so many games in the fashion that they're not meant to be played at all, and they've worked out just fine. So Wavelength is cool. It's a really simple design. I'm going to split you guys into teams of 3. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll like play for both teams, and then if that is weird, then I won't. Or I could just host and facilitate, but also like my conversation is so valuable. So I mean, how am I going to split you? I want to put Alex and Amanda on separate teams since you guys are both a new player. So Jay, you usually help me decide how we're going to split the teams. So what's our metric today?
Oh, how about take the middlemost letter of everyone's? No, I don't know.
I was going to follow that thread. How about short names versus long names? So Jay, Alex, and Lisa versus, then we have like administrative-ish versus like LI-ish. Okay, all right. Peter, Brian, Amanda. Yeah.
We only hire lead instructors with long names.
I barely made the cut. That was really iffy.
My name's pretty short.
Yeah, these were iffy.
Yeah, my full name is Danielle, so we're safe.
Team long name.
We're safe. All right, so Wavelength, basically, you get this little thing, which you guys basically, I'll show you. There's this little thing, and on this thing, this little semicircle, there is a target. Notice the target. The target has point values like 2, 3, and 4. That's the middle. And there's this little needle that moves and does this. So here's the idea. We're split into 2 teams. So team 1 will essentially get a clue, and one person is going to be what's called the psychic, meaning like they go. So maybe we should just actually play and kind of like go through it. Do you think that would be easier to actually?
Let's do a practice round. Let's do a practice round.
Okay.
So this doesn't count for anything.
Okay. So then let's go ahead. Let me flip my, you know how I decide things is with my D&D dice. I'm not even kidding. I do this like every day. I just like pull stuff out and like make decisions. So I'll decide that the instruction team is going first. So who do you nominate instruction team for being your psychic? I guess Peter or Brian should do it.
I'll go.
I think it should be Peter.
Okay.
No,
but this is
because Peter's super good, so we want to save him for the real one.
All right, so this is a practice round.
Yeah. Say again.
That only leaves you then. I'm not going to go. I don't know how to play this game.
Right, yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
This is a practice round. Round.
Okay, so Brian is going to be our psychic for this round. So here's the idea is that I'm going to pick, I have this little deck of cards, a stack of cards, and on these cards, they're double-sided, which means you get a choice. On the cards, there are 2 things pointing in 2 different directions, and they're opposite of each other. So for example, take a look at this card. It says short and long. Nice and simple. Take a look at the other side. This one says worst year in history versus best year in history. So some of them are really specific. Some of them are kind of vague. Generally speaking, like the more specific one is like more fun, but can be harder. The more general one is usually a little bit easier, maybe less fun, but maybe for the purposes of this. So I usually let the clue giver decide what side that they like out of the 2. So Brian, which side do you like? Do you like best year in history and worst year in history, or do you like short and long?
Let's do best year in history, worst year in history.
Okay.
Wow.
We're going with best year.
It doesn't count, so it'll be.
It doesn't count.
Worst year in history. So what that means is this is now the clue. I'm going to have it here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spin this. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I can spin the target like this. So it's going to land somewhere totally random on this semicircle. So I'm going to spin it.
Yeah, nobody gets to see where it lands except for Brian.
Yeah,
and then it's going to be our job to guess where it lands.
Brian gets to know. Yeah, so Brian gets to know where the target is, but nobody else does. So Brian's going to get to see the target. So let's go ahead and I'm going to have everyone close their eyes, literally everyone on both teams, except for Brian. And I'm going to show Brian where the target is at. And I'm not going to play this round, so I'm also going to look.
Great.
Okay, Brian, you feel?
You can close it.
Okay. Okay, so Brian has looked at where the target is. I have closed it. So now Brian knows where the target is on the semicircle. Nobody else does, except for me, I also know. And what Brian's job is now is to give his team a clue. It can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be really anything.
It's probably going to be a year.
It could be a year. In this case, it being a year would probably make sense. There's guidelines for clue giving. They should be like somewhat specific, but not super specific. I think for this one, probably super specific makes sense, like an actual year. And so Brian's going to attempt to give a clue to you guys to get you to guess where the target is. And so now Brian's going to give his clue when he's ready at some point. And then Peter and Amanda are going to get to discuss amongst themselves where they think they should move the target. And they're going to tell me where to move this needle based off of Brian's clue. So that's
Amanda, you and I are on the same team. If you saw that target, we could get possibly 4 points if we land exactly what Brian is thinking, 3 points if we're a little off, 2 points or 1 point. So let's just try it.
Okay.
So the clue, can you show us the clue a little bit closer, Danny?
Yeah.
Best year,
On
worst
the
year, right?
Worst year in
Orange
history is
is
on this
worst.
side.
I see.
Best year in history is all the way on this side. So this is like best and this is like worst.
Okay.
So Brian,
All right.
are you ready with your clue?
Let me
This
think
is a
for
practice
one.
round.
We're going to give Brian another second. And while Brian's thinking about his clue, I'll give him another minute. I'll explain the second mechanic. So you guys, so Peter and Amanda, he's given the clue to you. He's catering towards you, and he's going to try to get you to guess wherever the target is. And then once you guess, you're going to secure the needle somewhere. Then the opposing team, Lisa, Alex, and Jay, are going to get a chance to decide whether they think the actual target is to the left or the right. So, for example, if it was like here, and Lisa, Alex, and Jay were like, actually, we think that that should be this way. We think that the year that Brian gave is actually like way better. Or we think that the year that Brian gave is actually like way worse. They're going to pick a side and they can earn a point based off of where the actual target is. So you'll see how that works.
So basically, when it's our turn, we get to earn up to 4 points. We might earn 0.
You could earn
the
0.
opposing team can earn 1 point if they think that we were off and they're like, no, it's way less, or no, it's way more. And then everybody switches. So then we just take turns.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's basically the whole game. So
Just so
Brian,
you guys know, this was a tough one. There's a lot of years to pick from.
There's a lot of years to pick from.
A lot of years.
Practice round.
I'm going to go with 2010.
2010. All right. So now, Amanda, we have to walk the mind of Brian. 2010, I assume.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
Okay, so the wheel is like a gauge, and we're saying like this side is the worst, this side is the best, and falling some.
Correct.
Okay.
So if it's the worst year ever, you tilt it all the way where it is. If it's the best year ever, you tilt the red thing all the way to the other side. And then if it's in the middle, you kind of.
Like Brian saw where it is. So let's say it landed, like only Brian knows this. Let's say the actual gauge is all the way to the worst year ever. Brian would have said 2019 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he would have chosen a year that was like, like where it's like clearly this was like, September 11th, 2001, something like that. He's going to pick a really ugly year. We have to guess that. He picked 2010. So now we have to determine, is 2010 the worst possible year? I don't think so.
Does
Is it
anyone
the
remember
best possible year?
anything that happened in 2010?
Financial crisis was 2008, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 2008.
So that we were in a pretty significant recession for the next year or so, and things started getting a little bit better. So I would estimate, this is a very tough clue, by the way, but I'd estimate we're a little bit on the bad side, but certainly not the worst thing in the world.
Sure.
So I would move it up, maybe a quarter of the way, maybe closer to neutral. I don't know. Stop right there.
Maybe
like somewhere in that range is where I'd put it. And this is where we need to talk, and we need to not talk as Amanda and Peter. We need to talk as Brian Rice Is Brian privy to something that we don't know? Like, is Brian like a huge Fallout Boy fan? And he's like, well, they broke up in 2010,
Oh my gosh.
whatever. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I don't think they did.
That's so
Um,
obscure.
So 2010, that's where I'm going, Amanda. I
Okay.
don't know if you have other thoughts. If
I'm
you
gonna
think it's like
follow
a
your
little too
lead on
much
this
or
one.
too little. Well, I want to hear if you think, should I move it a little bit more towards worse or a little bit more towards better, considering where it's at right now?
Thinking about like just current events and what I remember of like things that were happening in the world, I feel like 2010 wasn't like super notable. It wasn't like,
So you're saying
don't
that's
think-
kind of neutral.
yeah, I don't think anything like super incredible happened, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
this is practice round. I'm good with it where it is. My gut is, I would say it's a smidge worse just because it's close to
Yeah.
the recession. But I hear what you're saying, Amanda. It's like 2010 wasn't particularly notable. So if I had to pick a year that was neutral. Oh, and by the way, there is another rule, and Brian's doing it to perfection. If you are the person who gave the clue, you have to keep a poker face. You cannot nudge your team
No
and go,
saying
"Huh,
Got it.
huh,
Okay.
huh."
Makes sense.
But Brian's really good at that. So okay, we're good with where it is. We're good with where it is.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
So they are solidifying this, they're locking it in, and that means that the other team gets a chance to rebuttal. So Lisa, Alex, and Jay, you guys get to say whether you think the target is actually on this side or if the target is actually on this side. Do you think that they were too jolly about the year or not jolly enough?
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts. You want to go first?
I don't care who goes. You can go first, Lisa.
Jay treats this game like the werewolf game. He's like, I am not going to speak first. Jay never shares his opinion first.
Uh,
I'm a villager.
yeah, I think the recession, I think, officially ended, like according to economists, in 2009. But I'm pretty sure there were still a lot of effects going on. So I would go in like a little bit worse.
I'm not. We can do that. I'll just say my thoughts. Frog in my throat now. Someone name me one good year. Name me a good year. A good year is a year that you don't remember what happened. Is there like a year that was great? There's bad years. And
1999
there's,
was a good year.
I was gonna say, didn't
Yeah.
69 Summer of Love? Did we land on the moon that year? Like that might
Ooh,
count.
that would've been
Is it
great-
really
that
good
would've been a
year?
great clue.
Yeah.
Okay.
fine. But to me, like, if you pick a year that's like modern era, first world problems, things, there's no crisis, that's a good year. So I would lean a little good, to the better, but who knows? Who knows if that's where Brian's going?
Alex is the tiebreaker.
I hear it from both sides with Lisa and Jay, but I'm like trying to like, what does Brian think about it? Like, does he really feel what he knows what economists say in 2010?
Wait a minute.
I do have a degree in economics.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those where it's like really close to the middle, but like still a little negative.
Do you like
So
it where
where
it
it's
is?
Kind of.
It's probably pretty close to.
That's a
Yeah.
really good tie break.
Well, we have to pick one side.
Yeah.
Alex, you pick the side for us.
I will go to the side with the orange. I forget.
So a little
Worse.
worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Your
picking
team
worse.
is saying you think that 2010 was worse than what Peter and Amanda think 2010 was.
Dan
Let's
is
find
saying
out
this
what
like super
Brian-
ominously without, it makes it sound like you actually know what it is, Danny, but
I do. Brian, what did you think about 2010?
oh
Wow, Brian hated it.
Brian thought
Those
2010
dead in
was
the middle ones are
awful.
tough.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because I was going to pick 2008 or 2009, but there were there was an election and inauguration, so people
Yeah.
might have taken it that way. So I just said, oh, well, I'll just make it 1 year later.
Yeah, it was a very tough clue. I mean, what we were discussing was pretty much on point, but it's really hard to gauge, you know what I mean, with that specific level of
Yeah.
clueness, right?
And Amanda, you'll notice
Mhm.
Peter was exactly right. He's like, I feel like it's here. I feel like it's a little, I don't know how he does it, but he's always right every time. So
Okay.
The trick is I watch.
An easy
I don't cover my eyes all the way. If you watch the videos, you play it back properly. I'm just kind of like, it's a trick. It's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a camera trick.
Oh,
I
that's
put
funny.
a screenshot of me covering my eyes, and then I actually watch.
So here's the box with the scores. The team that goes second actually gets to start with 1 point. And the team that goes second, you guys actually scored 1 point for getting it right. And the lead instruction team scored 0 points. So it is now 2-0
Except that was a practice round.
in
No,
favor
that's
of
cool, that's cool.
non-LIs.
No, that's cool. It's cool.
All
Let's
right.
do it. Let's do it.
And now we do the whole thing again. And that's the whole game. It's just that. The hardest part is giving a clue. So now team, what's your team name? This is like lead instruction. Should we be like sequel and no sequel and be like LI and no LI?
You could just do sequel,
Short
do
names,
sequel or no
short name,
sequel.
Short names. Short names.
Short names. Team short names. All right, I'm gonna draw a card. Who do you want to be your psychic?
Jay.
Jay, you've been nominated.
Uh,
Okay, Jay. You have two choices. You have limited versus infinite, or I can't read this. Hold on. Casual event to formal event. Which will it be? Casual event, formal event, limited, infinite.
I know we like going the more specific one, but for the sake of my team's points, let's do the limited infinite.
Limited, infinite. Okay. So we've got limited on the green side. We have infinite on the red side. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a nice spin. All right. And now everyone's going to close their eyes except for Jay. So Jay, you get to see where the target is.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone can open their eyes again. Jay now knows where the target is and will decide on what his clue shall be.
This limited is green and infinite is red. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Limited, infinite. Give a loop example.
Mm.
I'm gonna be
Wrong
right
team
back.
for that.
Wow. I'll be right back while Jay spends a lot of time thinking about his clue.
Let's all stare at Jay.
I'm gonna say I have no idea what I'm gonna say.
Usually you have like a first instinct of something you want to say, and then you loop
Yeah.
through a ton of other options, and then you come back to your instinct. That's what happens to me.
Ugh. I'm gonna say
Are you?
for the sake of moving this along,
Okay, what was the clue, Jay?
I'm gonna say
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna say soda.
Soda. He said soda.
So this
Or
is
pop.
Alex, Amanda, Alex, Lisa, and Jay.
Yeah, so Lisa and Alex now get to discuss amongst themselves.
I'm not sure what made me think of it.
Ooh.
So Amanda, Brian, and I say nothing during this time.
Mhm.
Or we don't have to say nothing, but it's not our turn to guess.
You probably shouldn't
We're not.
assist them.
Alex, do you have
I only
thoughts?
say that because I've seen people
Water.
do the same thing.
I think
So.
the first thing I think of when I soda is like water, but
Okay.
that being a little bit different because pop has more, soda has more in it. I don't know.
I was thinking about it in terms of like bottles of like there is a limited amount of soda in a bottle or a can at any one point. Also, Coca-Cola is all over the freaking world.
It's true. It's very true.
So I kind of want to put it in the middle.
I kind of want to say it's maybe it is a little bit more limited.
Okay.
Just like it.
Yeah, smidge. Yeah, sure.
There.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Why not?
BJ. Become
Thinking
Jay.
back, I'm thinking back about the spy game, and like the word that he gave was like, what? Like, I was like,
So your strategy, Alex, is opposite day. Whatever you think Jay meant is the opposite of what it is.
You give incredulous clues.
Okay.
Are we good?
You guys feeling confident about this?
I think we're feeling accepting of whatever this is.
Yeah.
You guys are feeling like
accepted the
this is
fate.
what you're doing.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
No going
and
back.
team long names.
Okay, so mathematically, you always go for the larger area. Even if you can't guess, you're just like, okay, it's on the bigger side. In this particular case, it's around 2 or 3 o'clock is where the actual answer is. Jay has soda in front of him, and soda is to Jay. See, if you're talking like to a conservationalist, maybe like Alex or Lisa, who's thinking about the environment, you're like, wow, soda, it's like, it's like sucking up all their water supplies, and there's plastic bottles, and they can't. But from Jay's perspective, of a person who drinks, a diet Coke every single day, you know what I mean? It's like it's in grocery stores, it's everywhere. So it's definitely on the half of Edmonds. I would say around 2 o'clock is where the actual answer is.
Is the green side limited or unlimited?
The green side is limited. Red side is infinite.
I would think it's definitely on the infinite side.
Yeah. I agree.
So
Okay.
that's easy then.
So lead instructor team is saying this side.
Correct.
Yeah, they're going with the big pie slice. Obviously, the lead instructors are going with the mathematically, statistically more likely option. That makes sense. Let's see what Jay thought.
I like the drama. What did I say? Oh, I said around 2 o'clock. I said around 2 o'clock.
Oh my
That's
God.
one. That's 1 o'clock.
That's what it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock, but I said around 2
Yeah,
o'clock.
Peter, we got it.
Man, there's someone finally in the room who's like more obnoxious about being right than I am. Thank you, Peter, for wearing that hat so I don't have to.
We got 0 points in our last round, so we're
That's
still
true.
behind.
So now
Like,
the point
just-
score is
yeah.
2-1.
Yeah, so just to be clear, like when you play this game, when you hit that 4, that's a big deal. It's not easy. It's very easy. It's very easy to get zeros each round, right?
It's hard.
And so getting 1 point, it's not a big deal. Getting 1 point here and there, but hitting that 4 is a big deal. That puts you like your the way you play this game is. I mean, we're not going to have the full game, but you play it up to 10. So getting 4 is like boom, boom, boom. That's a huge
by the way,
thing,
you
and it's
played
hard to
10.
get right.
I forgot to tell you guys, you played to 10. First team to 10 wins. Yeah.
Oh, we never do that.
We've done it.
Supposedly, that's what it is. All right, team LI, team long names. It is now
I'll
your
do the clue.
turn. Elect a psychic. Peter's going to be the psychic this time. All right, I'm going to spin it round and round and round. But before I give you the answer, I have to give you the card. Okay. Oh gosh, this one's fun. Okay. For kids or for adults.
I have to keep it family friendly.
I also think is really fun.
Yup.
Oh,
Useless in an emergency versus useful in an emergency.
That's a good one.
No, that's really hard. Useless in an emergency, useful in an emergency, and the other one is
for kids.
This card actually, I want to give you guys a really brief story. Actually, I'll give you the brief story while Peter's thinking of his answer. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. What's the other side?
For kids or for adults?
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do
You
that.
have to keep it
I'm-
family
I don't,
friendly.
I don't have to say anything. If I was the one doing the guessing, I'd be in trouble, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Well,
That's
are
true.
you? All right. So I'll give a brief anecdote while Peter's thinking of his answer. So Peter is spinning. So everyone's going to close their eyes except for Peter. And I will reveal the location to Peter.
Okay, you can close it.
All right, y'all can open your eyes. So while Peter's thinking of an answer, let him go. This side of the card, the useful and useless in an emergency, it spawned a new game with me and some of my friends when we were playing this game, which was we spawned a new game called Puppy from Wavelength. We called the game Puppy because this card, someone gave the clue Puppy, useful or useless in an emergency. And half of us were like, that's super useless in an emergency. And the other half were like, no, that's so useful. Like it keeps you from panicking, right? So this spawned a game called Puppy where we basically play the game the opposite way, which is where you give the clue, you have Puppy, and then you have to set the target. And that was the game Puppy, is we had to figure out how Puppy would be in any of these. So for example, hot versus cold, where does Puppy land on that scale? Normal versus weird, where does Puppy land on that scale? And it spawned a whole game where we just had Puppy as the clue and we had to put where it should be on the scale. That was fun.
This game is a lot of fun because it inspires creativity.
Yeah.
All right, I have a clue.
Okay.
So
Clue.
on the green side is for kids. On the salmon pinkish side is for adults. My clue is pants.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have a lot of opinions about children in shorts and how adults wear shorts less often. So it's
Go
kind of
on.
pants for adults.
Pants are
That
for
was not a lot of opinions. I was like,
Well,
one.
there's like the whole thing, like when you I have a friend who's like really into following the British royal family, and like
Sure.
the little kids wear shorts. They like never wear pants, but like when they grow up, they're not allowed to wear shorts anymore.
Hmm.
Peter, how do you
It's
feel
a
about
similar
the-
story to my life.
I would think it would be the opposite. You just get them one pair, and then they start out as pants, and you grow and they become shorts. But it's kind of the reverse.
What do you do about the waist?
You just have a very large
Very
belt
elastic.
with a bunch of holes in it. and you just keep
Eventually, it
adjusting
becomes a glove.
a fingerless
Oh,
glove.
Two
A
fingers.
mitten.
Can I help you guys move this dial somewhere?
I think we're just kind of getting started as far
Okay,
as.
yeah, no, take your time.
So
I
it
think it's more on the
seems.
adult side.
So I would say, so babies, not a lot of pants.
Right.
Adults, way more
A lot of
pants.
pants.
Although, so it's probably on the adult side. I would think it's a little bit past noon
Okay.
on the adult side, like, like whatever, like operating a bulldozer or something is like much more adult than
Okay.
having pants.
Sure. All right.
Although they do have those little trucks, but.
You can tell me when to stop when you feel comfortable, Brian.
Yeah, give me like 3 more clicks east.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. No, one
I
more
like
back. That's too
One
far.
back.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It's going to be like on the other half, but that's fine.
Peter's like pants for babies.
I don't even know where you put the needle. I'm not giving you no information. I'm not even
Not
watching.
to look at all.
I like that. I feel good about that.
Okay.
So do I.
How does Team Short Names feel about this? Would you like to place your bets on more for kids or more for adults?
What do y'all think?
I mean, there's the mathematically, of course, it's going more towards kids. But also, yes, kids wear shorts more often, but kids still wear pants. Like, I feel like it is definitely on the kid side of neutral.
On the kid side? No, not my turn. Sorry.
I could have definitely see it being neutral, like smack in the middle. It's like, what's something that everyone has? They all wear pants.
Mhm.
Although if it was like perfectly
Okay.
neutral, I may have said clothes. So that's why I do feel like maybe it leans a little more adult, but I think
Yeah.
I do want to go mathematics in this case too. I think I would go a little left, but I don't know. Alex, what do you think?
I'm leaning more towards adults, but at the same time, I also feel like there's something to be said about the mathematical principle. If we're going off of that.
So what are we doing? We're going for math then?
Sounds like at least two
Yeah.
of you want to go.
We're putting math on trial here, everyone.
Yeah, this became really high stakes. all of a sudden.
Yep.
For math.
Okay, so Brian and Amanda believe that it's around here, and Team Short Names believe that it is maybe more towards the 4 kids. What does Peter think? Definitely not for children.
Oh, neutral.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah. No, I realized what I did wrong. I should have gone for dead neutral. It's a little shifted, so I'm like, what's something that's a little shifted? And I was like, okay, kids wear shorts and adults wear pants, but I get that. But I'm like, I overshot. I didn't want to say shoes, which is perfectly neutral. I wanted to shift it a little so that people can have that nuanced discussion.
It was
But I
close enough
overshot.
to dead center that you could have got away with.
I could have
something
just said
dead
shoes
neutral.
or like shirt.
So
So,
this is going to be 2 points awarded to Team Long Names and 1 point awarded to Team Short Names.
Sweet.
You guys are dead even. It is 3-3. Oh yeah. Very exciting. Okay. Okay. So would Team Short Names like to nominate their psychic?
Yeah, Alex, do you want your first chance at getting a clue since we're running out of time?
All right.
I'll do it.
And it's okay, just understand, we get zeros. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
possible
I got
to be
a
on
zero.
the completely wrong wavelength. It happens. So it's not high stakes.
Yeah. So the clues that have been given so far, actually you guys have given like one-worded clues, which is not, you don't need to give a one-worded clue. You can give a phrase. It just can't be something ridiculously specific. They don't want qualifiers, you know? So something that's like vague-ish is fine. Just know that you don't have to give a one-word clue like I've been given so far.
Could only say years.
So I'm going to give you your options. All right, Alex. You have unpopular versus popular.
Okay.
Or, oh, this is a really simple one. Friend versus enemy.
I'm gonna go popular versus unpopular.
Popular, unpopular. Okay.
Can I interject real quick? You do realize that the people probably least familiar with pop culture are me and Jay.
It doesn't have to be pop culture. Like
could-
anything.
Okay.
Great is how
She
she
could-
gives the clue.
Pants
She
Throwing
could
that out
just-
there.
She could just say Jay Wengro and let you all have a debate.
Yeah.
That
It
is
doesn't have
so
to be
not
pop
awkward.
culture, you know? It could be anything.
Just saying.
Yeah. You want to stick with your guns, Alex, or do you want to swap?
I do.
She can
Okay,
say,
all right,
Diet
yes.
I
Coke.
believe in it.
You're
I believe in
sticking-
us.
They're sticking to their guns. Okay. So unpopular versus popular. And I'm going to spin this. Woo, 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 woo. Wah, wah. Okay, and everyone's going to close their eyes except for Alex.
Okay.
Okay. And now Alex will think of a clue.
We can open our eyes.
Yeah,
You can
we're
open
good.
your eyes. Sorry. My bad. Actually, I just wanted to see Brian stay there with his eyes shaded for like the next 10 minutes.
Say Jay Wengro.
Oh, please.
I feel like Jay Wengro, like you could put anywhere. you know?
I would have said Jay Wengro if I picked the card enemy versus friend and then let people have that
Just for the
argument.
entertainment value of the conversation.
Right. The wherever it landed, it didn't matter. I just wanted to say Jay Wengro.
Jay Wengro.
But we would have figured that out. We would have been like, Peter's just messing with us.
Therefore, it's completely random.
Could be anywhere. While Alex decides, I will show you guys my cat in his bed. Look how cute.
Aw, my Ace. Hey, buddy.
He's hanging out.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Yay. Okay.
Yep.
What is your clue?
Furbies.
They were popular.
Think.
I'm trying to remember what exactly they are. But I know it was a fad. It was a fad.
Yeah.
It was a big fad. I think my sister had one. In like, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So the question is, popular now or were they popular? I'm gonna
Clear.
Well, if you were gonna pick something unpopular, I wouldn't pick something popular from a long time ago. I'd pick something that's unpopular now. So I would say it leans popular.
Okay.
It just may not be as popular now as it once was.
So back at the like 1 o'clock position.
Let's put it at 1 o'clock and see what that looks like, even though I know what it looks
You
like.
tell me.
It looks like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. You
This
need
way
the
more?
visual.
Or this way more?
I think that's good. I don't know. What do you think, Lisa?
Sure. Like, I'm still trying to remember what a Furby actually is.
It was a fad. It was a fad toy,
Mhm.
like Beanie Babies.
Yeah. I don't think they were as popular as Beanie Babies though. Oh, please, let's not go down this rabbit hole. I'm good with where it is.
Me too.
And long names.
Clearly less popular, I would say. If you had to pick something that was the most popular thing in the world, nobody would say Furbies. If you had to pick the least popular thing in the world, nobody would say Furbies. So it's definitely kind of neutral, but nobody's going to think of Furbies, and think, wow, this is like really amazing. And if they did, like if Alex like was a secret Furby kind of like collector or something like that, I don't think she would have used that. I don't think they would have used that as their clue in this case. That's such a weird thing. So in the mind of Alex, I think that there's some people who are disturbed by Furbies. And I think that's the answer lies closer to like 11 o'clock. But mathematically, it's less popular than when they have it.
I fully agree with Peter because I was not allowed to have Furbies when I was a child because my mom was like completely grossed out by them. And in the second grade, I had a sleepover and my friend brought a Furby and my mom took the batteries out of it.
So a Furby was like a weird gremlin looking like toy. You know what I mean?
It was like the gremlin, like pre-eating after midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. Brian, I don't know what you think.
They're creepy.
I totally disagree with both of you because
I didn't see the Furbies in your background there, Brian. I completely misread the room. Like unicorns and weird collector dolls and stuff like that.
Brian,
No?
so it's just all Furbies right up until here.
I had to clear it out to have a professional background.
Pile of Furbies.
So right, it's not the least popular, it's not the most popular, but like Furby is like a Tickle Me Elmo, right? It's like there was a mania at the time. So that makes me think it's not in the middle third, right? It's probably not neutral because there was this, like people were, they were selling out. People are like beating each other up in the stores to get them.
So from the perspective of like name recognition, you certainly can't say Furbies are the least popular thing. Like people know what they are. Like you're saying, like there was a moment when they were popular. I don't disagree with that logic. The question is, what was Alex thinking when they chose that clue?
Right. And I think the answer is not in the middle part. It's probably closer to the bottom than neutral. But either way, we can still pick to the right, and we have all of that area.
You mean?
And I realize I'm outvoted, and I'm very aware I'm disagreeing with you in this game, Peter, which has been hard for me. So, like, very happy to do the other way. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm voting for less popular than where it's at. That's my vote, but I'm okay with wherever the vote lands.
Brian brings up a really good point. It's not about his pile of Furbies. It's about Alex and whether or not they have a pile of Furbies.
Right, and I'm saying, okay, so if we're gonna go into the mind of Alex, if we're gonna go into the mind of Alex, I don't see weird unicorns and Furbies in the background. You know what I mean? I would say that.
You mean weird?
Are you the type of person who gets freaked out by Furbies? That's the question.
That is the
and I'm
question.
like,
And
if I had to hazard a guess, I would say Alex would be the type of person who's a little freaked out by Furbies, and they're not the least popular thing in the world, but I could be wrong. My gut says it's less popular than where it's at. My gut would have been 11
Oh my
o'clock.
god,
That's
this
my
is
gut.
so funny.
By the way, this is a fantastic clue. This is sort of like the whole goal of the game is to get this.
Right.
You know,
Pants
yeah.
is boring. I was surprised at how much conversation Pants generated, but that's a boring clue. Furbies is like a really tight, specific, interesting conversation clue.
And it's not just that I like the clue because I like Furbies so much. Like, I think it's a good clue, even independent of that. I have to leave at 6, so,
Okay, so
we
we're
can
gonna
pick
uncover
whichever side.
okay.
So
It's-
Amanda, you're the
I'm voting
tiebreaker.
less popular.
You guys are going with
We can be
unpopular.
wrong.
Less
That's
popular.
fine.
All right. And inside of mind of
Can I say
Alex-
something before you show?
Yes.
Everyone's
you
gonna
can.
be super disappointed because
You love Furbies.
my brain got the words wrong. So
That's the X factor right there.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, my personal opinion on Furbies is that they're horrifying and the worst. So I would tend to agree with the fact that these are very unpopular.
But you had them as super popular.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They were.
So-
they were. Nobody's
They were
questioning that.
huge.
Why?
Yeah.
They were huge. What a strangely
They were huge
specific-
in my circle of friends.
So are you
We did
saying
have,
you
like,
actually
three.
own-
Regular people, very
Three.
into Furbies. Not strange, not weird.
So that means I was right only because I was completely wrong. That's basically what we're saying. And Brian, you
Sure.
had it completely correct. Your assessment was completely correct. It had to be in one of the extremes. Like the only reason you'd pick Furby is because it's extreme. Interesting.
Nice.
Well, that's going to put the LI team at 4 points to 3 points. And we do have to end.
But it's
there.
up till 10. Up till 10.
But we will resume next time to continue to get to that 10-point marker. Yeah, no, I actually like when Alex picked this, I was like, I agree, they suck.
Yeah, but Alex had it backwards.
Yep.
And now I feel less validated. But that's okay.
I guess if we can take away anything, it's that Brian and Alex can bond over their love of Furbies now.
I know, that's right.
Right.
Mhm.
They were so
Yeah, the
icky. You had to
ladybug
put
one.
your finger in its mouth to feed it, and you click down on the icky, like, and it was like. "Ah!"
If you don't remember what Furbies are, Google it. They're very
Don't.
strange. I'm sure they're polarizing, which goes further to prove Brian's point. It's a polarizing, right? It's going to be one way or the other, right? Some
Yeah.
people hate them, some people
Furbies.
love them, right?
Don't do it. Leave your sacred brain and imagery alone. All right. Those are the things of nightmares. Anyways, thank you all for playing today. And
Thanks,
we'll see
Danny.
you next time for another thrilling game. Where we probably don't talk about Furbies if I'm lucky.